All right, guys, here we go. Now, I can't hear a thing for some reason, but that's okay. I'm gonna make this work. Gonna make this work for you guys. Let's see here. Gotta get my chat ready. Probably should have done this before I started streaming, but it'll be alright. It'll be okay. Trying to figure all this out over her. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the show. This is My Political Mind. I'm your host, David Wheeland, and I've got a lot to say. I've got a lot to say, and so yeah, let's see how this goes. All right, guys. Today we want to talk about what's going on in the political landscape. As you know, we have a Supreme Court decision coming up. I'm pretty sure we all know what's going on with that. Amy Coney Barrett is up for Supreme Court justice, and well, I just thought we would check that out, see what's going on there. I am relatively new to this, so I am trying to get my wits about me. I can't hear myself, but I guess that doesn't really matter. As long as I can hear what's on the screen and you guys can hear what's on this screen, I guess that's all that matters. So I'm going to start off with some Amy Coney Barrett news. Oh man, this is like really this isn't going well. I'm trying to find the how to share this stream. So, oh, here we go. There we go. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I'm having to figure this out as we go. So, here we go. Letting people know I'm live. All right. Here we go. Now that that's shared, maybe I can get some people on and get them to talk. Get them to talk to me. I can't wait to actually be able to like put my chat up over here. Let's just go ahead and go over to the display. So I have a green screen behind me, and I've been trying to figure out how to just get my logo like in this area and not get like the entire display on my green screen. I haven't been able to figure that out yet. So if anybody has any tips on that, please let me know, because I have no idea. I've tried everything. I'm very new, obviously, to OBS, so I guess I need to, just keep doing this. Just keep on trucking, keep messing with it, see what happens. All right, so I want to look up Let's see. Let's search Amy Coney Barrett. Let's see here.
What are the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?
Speech, religion, press, assembly. Speech, press, religion, assembly. I don't know. What am I missing?
Redress or protest.
Okay.
Redress or protest.
What are the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment?
Okay, so she couldn't name those, but she's supposed to be a Supreme Court justice. That's cool. I really want to touch on something that I saw earlier. Let's see if I can just originalist. Because Amy Coney Barrett claims to be an originalist. And when you are an originalist, that means that you go by the Constitution no matter what. Like, you don't treat the Constitution as a living document, which which I think is something that is needed in modern day politics. Where I really want to find the video that I saw so that I can, react to it or whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to just find a video. Civics lesson on original. Well, let's check this out. Let's see what this
Thank you,
says.
Mr. Chairman. Judge, welcome back. I mean this as good news, but it might not feel like it after me. You're half done for today. I'm 11th of 22. Mr. Chairman, before I begin my questioning, I'd like to ask unanimous consent to admit into the record a letter from
Ben
Alan
Sass,
Gelzo, the historian at Princeton,
Republican,
who has
Nebraska,
written a letter to the committee in response to some of Senator Harris's claims about the history of Supreme Court vacancies going back to the Civil War.
Without objection.
Thank you. Judge,
I really just need to know
that the meaning of law
if you guys can hear me
with time, and you've said that's very important. Can you unpack for us why it's so important that the meaning of a law doesn't change with time?
Sure, because the law stays the same until it is lawfully changed. And if we're talking about a law that has been enacted by the people's representatives, or gone through the process of constitutional amendment or constitutional ratification, it must go through the lawfully prescribed process before it's changed. So Article 5 in the context of the Constitution, or bicameralism and presentment in the context of statutes. And it's not up to judges to short circuit that process by updating the law. That's your job.
But laws clearly are written in a context, and then the circumstances to which those laws have applied would change. Does the Fourth Amendment have nothing to say about cell phones? Unreasonable search and seizure was obviously not written at a time when they had imagined mobile technological devices that addicted our kids. Does the Fourth Amendment
I'm actually surprised that a Republican brought this up.
No, the Fourth Amendment, so the Constitution, one reason why it's the longest lasting written Constitution in the world is because it's written at a level of generality that's specific enough to protect rights, but general enough to be lasting, so that, when you're talking about the constable banging at your door in, 1791 as a search or seizure, now we can apply it, as the court did in Carpenter versus the United States, to cell phones. So the Fourth Amendment is a principle. It protects against unreasonable searches and seizures, but it doesn't catalog the instances in which an unreasonable search or seizure could take place. So you take that principle and then you apply it to modern technology, like cell phones, or what if technological advances enable someone with Superman X-ray vision to simply see in your house, Is that, so there's no need to knock on the door and go in. Well, I think that could still be analyzed under the Fourth Amendment.
So I think this is a useful place to explain to the American people again what originalism is and why it's a mistake to view it as a Republican position. I think that originalism is a part of a jurisprudential debate. It's not a part of a policy continuum between Republicans and Democrats. I think it's something that is useful for everybody who believes that three branches of government have two that are political and one that is not. So maybe it's useful to just kind of back up and say, when you define yourself as an originalist, what does that mean? And then how is it going to relate to that distinction between the principles that are timeless, but the applications that are clearly going to change by circumstance?
Right. So originalism means that you treat the Constitution as law because it commits these texts to writing. And in interpreting that law, you interpret it in accord with the meaning that people would have understood it to have at the time that it was ratified. And the reason that you do that is because otherwise, well, as I said, the law stays the same until it's lawfully changed. Otherwise, judges would be in the Constitutional Convention business of updating the law rather than allowing the people to take control of that. Now, in the case of the Constitution, as I said with the Fourth Amendment, many of its principles are more general. Unreasonable searches and seizures, free speech. Those are things that have to be identified or fleshed out or applied over time. So the fact that there wasn't, the internet or computers or blogs in 1791 doesn't mean that the First Amendment's free speech clause couldn't apply to those things now. It enshrines a principle, and we understand the principle as it was at the time, but then it's capable of being applied to new circumstances.
So when you define yourself as an originalist, what are the other schools of thought that are adjacent to it? And how do you think about the debates among those with other people that are now with you on the Seventh Circuit, for instance?
She's really good at making her argument.
Well, Senator Sass, I think one thing that it's worth pointing out is that in the academy, in any event where I've spent a large portion of my career, originalism is not necessarily a conservative idea. There is
She'd be a pretty young justice, wouldn't she?
So originalists are now a very diverse lot. And there is a school of originalism that's more of a progressive originalism and is very committed to
she's only 48.
keeping the Constitution's meaning, just interpreting text the way all originalists do, to say that it has the meaning that it had at the time that it was ratified, but they tend to read it at a higher level of generality. So all originalists don't.
So she could potentially be on the court for, like 30 years.
Necessarily agree. And in fact, there's an advocacy group called the Constitution Accountability Center, which has routinely filed briefs in the Supreme Court that calls itself, it writes briefs in support of originalism, but taking it from a more progressive standpoint. So I think probably people think, oh, it's only conservatives who are originalists, but actually it's a more widely accepted view than that. I think that if you think about different strains of approaching constitutional text, originalism is one. All judges and justices take account of history and the original meaning. It's just that some weight it differently, whereas originalists would give it dispositive weight when it's discernible. Other approaches to constitution.
Yeah, I'm done with that. That's super boring for right now, especially when I don't have anything to offer. All right, let's see what old Dinesh D'Souza is talking about over here. Yeah, I'm using an ad blocker. We use ads to keep our content free. To go away. Just thank you. Let's see. This is from the Gateway Pundit, who is, I believe, extremely. Oh, I can kind of hear myself now. Okay, maybe I just need to turn myself up over here. Where is the audio? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh God, I don't need to hear. It's almost too echoey. So the Gateway Pundit, I am pretty sure, is like a conservative think tank. The Gateway Pundit is an American far-right news and opinion website. The website is known for publishing falsehoods, hoaxes, and conspiracy theories. The Gateway Pundit expanded from a one-person enterprise into a multi-employee operation that is supported primarily by advertising revenue. That's why that little pop-up popped up. Let's see. Let's see what's going on with these here conspiracies. Let's see. After years of leadership from the likes of Robert Mueller, James Comey, and Christopher Wray, the FBI's name is severely tarnished. Numerous major criminal activities were brought to the FBI's attention, but were ignored and never addressed because the participants were from a protected class. The actions by the FBI are the major reasons Americans believe there is a two-tiered system of justice in the U.S. Okay, yeah, this is just all right. What? All right off the bat, the FBI's name is severely tarnished. Didn't the FBI just crack down on people that were going to kidnap the governor of Michigan? Didn't they just get that? Oh, wait, didn't that just happen? Of course, you don't hear anything from Donald Trump because politics, but it's a political thing. A governor had a plot planned for her kidnapping. It's crazy times we're living in. See, over the past couple of days, we uncovered more evidence related to major crimes committed by leaders in the Democrat Party. What is this? Is this another gate? Oh, look at that. Oh, got log in. Of course. Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon via the New York Post dropped an October surprise on Joe Biden on Wednesday, and the media hacks are scrambling to run cover for Crooked Joe and his crackhead son, Hunter. Sorry about that. These people, his crackhead son, like Jesus. He overcame his addiction, and they're still calling him crackhead. Like, these people are just evil. Dear Hunter, let's see, what is this? Some email. Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's realty and honor and pleasure. As we spoke yesterday evening, would be great to meet today for a quick coffee. What do you think? I could come to your office somewhere around noon or so before or know my way to airport. Best V. Okay. I mean, this is all just bananas. This is all bananas. I can't do it. Am I still live? What's going on over here? Is somebody watching? I don't know. They're not logged in now. So, whatever.
I got one last question.
Hope it's an easy one.
It is. It's a sincere question. I'm generally curious. Who does the laundry in your house?
Wait. What? This is so gross and sexist, and she thought it was cute because internalized misogyny and upholding the patriarchy. Yeah, I don't. This is supposed to be a serious thing, and it's just nothing's been serious since 2016. Like, the whole world, we're living in a movie. We're living in a simulation or something. Amazing chart of COVID deaths in NYC and Coulter. I did want to touch on something that I saw on Facebook, of course, of all places, in regards to COVID. What does it say? One fact that needs to be kept in mind in making sense of reactions to the coronavirus pandemic of 2020 is how terrifyingly hard it hit the media capital of the world, New York City, fairly early in its course. From the CDC's website of weekly death counts, the blue bars show deaths in NYC from all causes, and the orange line an unusually bad normal week. Okay. Indicates observed above a predicted number of deaths from all causes, threshold for excess deaths. The expected number of deaths in the week ending April 11, 2020 in NYC was 1,042, but instead 7,862 died. Jesus. More than 7 times the normal death toll. How high could it go? If this graph kept growing at the same rate as it had in the first week in April, from 2,804 in the week ending March 28th to 6,296 in the week ending April 4th. For another 4 weeks, the death toll would be 100,000 per week, or probably worse because the hospitals and undertaking industry would have been overwhelmed. It's important to recall the terror felt in March in the capital of the world. As it turned out, deaths then started to fall dramatically. If I recall correctly, one New York City emergency room doctor said ambulances suddenly stopped arriving in droves on April 7th at about 1 p.m. We owe a lot to New York doctors who did much. This is okay. This isn't really something I'd expect to see from Ann Coulter, of all people. Amazing chart. Like, I don't even know what she means by that, though. What do you mean, Ann?
He had, Baron Trump, he had the Corona 19. Baron Trump,
What?
he had the Corona 19.
What? Barron had the Corona 19? I mean, I'm sorry that Barron. If what he's saying is that Barron got COVID, then I mean, damn, that's bad. Maybe if his dad wasn't, such a raving lunatic, that wouldn't happen. Or at least, pretty careless. Maybe, I don't have to go as far as saying raving lunatic, but he's a raving lunatic that's pretty careless. But anyway, that's just great. Let's
Baron Trump, he had the Corona 19.
It's amazing. I just looked directly into my camera's light, and I'm blind now. So that's fantastic. So I touched on something in my last live stream. I deleted the stream because the sound was terrible. Hopefully the sound on this is doing pretty well. But I wanted to talk about the election coming up, and I want to talk about Donald Trump and his messaging pre-election. So for several months now, we've been hearing about mail-in voter fraud, mail-in voter fraud, mail-in voter fraud, mail-in voter fraud. And that is all that Trump has been pushing, is mail-in voter fraud. The election's going to be rigged. Unless I win, then that means it wasn't rigged, but it was still rigged. But I won, so it doesn't matter. So the election's not rigged. That's how he is. That's how it's going to go. Except I don't think that is how it's going to go, because I think Trump is going to lose dramatically. But we will get into that and why I believe that. But I want people to understand that Trump tries to push, and I've heard other YouTubers talk about this, like this isn't anything new, but it might be new to my viewers and the people that watch me or want to watch me or my friends that, I share these these videos too. On like Facebook and all that stuff. But Trump has been pushing this narrative about mail-in voter fraud, and there's a reason for that. The reason for that is he wants to create chaos. He wants there to be confusion. He knows that because we already see it, he knows that Republicans are going to vote far more in person on election day than Democrats will. Democrats will do mail-in voting. They're already doing mail-in voting or early voting, mostly mail-in voting, but it's overwhelmingly Democrats that will be voting by mail. And Trump knows this, so this is why he's been pushing this narrative about voter fraud, mail-in voter fraud. And the reason he is pushing this narrative, I believe, is that, and this is, they've even said that, and many people following him have said that the result of the election, the night of the election, is the result. And everything after that, that's not, the votes not, that basically they're just not going to matter. The votes aren't going to matter. The votes aren't going to matter. After election day, the votes don't matter. All the mail-in votes, they're going to be coming in. It's not going to matter. Here's the thing, folks. On election day, since Republicans will be voting more in person on election day, and Democrats will be doing more mail-in voting, we could see, and it's pretty likely that we will see that the race is going to be either really close the day of the election, or Donald Trump might be winning the day of the election. But here's the thing. The Democratic votes will start coming in later, the day after, because they're mostly, or not mostly, but millions of them will be coming in after the election. Not because they're dead people, not because people voted twice, but because Democrats just vote, or at least this year, are doing more mail-in voting. I think they usually do more mail-in voting in general in past elections, but now it's even more so this year because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So, and of course, Trump has been trying to block mail-in votes because he knows that Democrats more likely to, vote by mail. That's another reason why I didn't want to fund the post office. But we're getting a little sidetracked. Trump, if he is winning, or if it's a close race on election night, if he's winning on election, or he wins, he's winning the night of the election without all the votes coming in, he's going to declare victory, and he's going to say he won no matter what. And then once the mail-in votes start coming in and they flip the election to Biden, like I think they're going to do, if Biden doesn't win it the night of, but they're going to flip the election, and Donald Trump is going to say it was rigged, and then we're going to have a civil war or something, because people are going to be pissed off. Donald Trump's going to be pissed off. He's going to go out there. He's going to rile up his base. He's going to tell them it was all rigged. He's going to say the Democrats rigged it. I won the election. Everybody knows I won the election because he's a strong man. He's an authoritarian. He's a dictator, whatever name you want to give him. That's the way he acts. That's who he likes. That's who he talks kindly about. Putin, Kim Jong-un, other than, the little Rocket Man comment. But this is what he's going to do. This is what he's preparing for. This is what he's trying to set up. He's been trying to set this up. He has been setting it up. So if Biden doesn't win by an absolute landslide and isn't winning the night of the election, then, either way, Trump's going to be very irritated. So either way, Trump is going to be saying it's rigged. Uh, the hardcore Trump supporters, like the cultish type Trump supporters, they're going to be out there. They're either going to be pissed off and trying to start ish, or they're going to be super happy trying to start ish. I don't see it going well either way. I'm concerned for the country for this election. Even if Biden wins, I'm still concerned for the country. It's just this is crazy, guys, because we're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 days, 19, 20 days away from the election. It's about to get wild. But it is crazy how many mail-in votes there already are coming in. Already in the millions, and early voting in the millions. Like, it's insane. But yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen the night of the election. It's and that's what I think Trump has been trying to set up. And I know I'm going to see it on Facebook when he loses, if he loses. I'm pretty sure he's going to lose, and I'm about to get to why. But I'm just concerned. And because our country's already divided enough as it is. And I don't know. Hopefully people don't get too crazy. I really hope not. But we'll see. All right, I'm going to go. I'm going to go to 538, and I want to show you guys. I think it might be the forecast page. Whoa. Yeah. All right. So, here's all the maps on 538 of all the predictions through simulations and like the maps that each candidate would need to see in order to win. So, and these are the likelihoods. So, man, that's just crazy. Look at the Trump win. Like, look at all that. That's 2016, isn't it? There's Trump losing a couple states but still winning. There's Trump losing a few more states, northeast Maine, and still winning. But then look at all the paths to victory for Biden. This would be insane. Latest news. Today marks the third day of confirmation hearings for President Trump's latest Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett. But the hearings haven't produced anything yet that seems likely to affect the election. Barrett has been careful not to answer questions about how she would rule on hot-button issues such as abortion and the Affordable Care Act. Though it's not really a mystery where she sits ideologically, she is very conservative. Meanwhile, she actually called abortion barbaric back in some paper. It was like either 2006 or 2016 or something. So, no reviews on that. I don't know if she would overturn Roe v. Wade, or try to overturn the Affordable Care Act. But it's very likely that she would at least try, or if something was brought to the court and put up for a vote, that she would likely vote conservative. instead of being the originalist that she claims to be. Um, meanwhile, Trump is running out of time. Joe Biden leads by double digits in national polls, and state level polling is only slightly closer. Should you trust the polls this year? Yes, but we understand that many people have lingering questions after 2016. Excuse me, sorry. Um, even though Trump was just a normal polling error behind Hillary Clinton, he was only down. That's what people don't get. He was only down a few points to Hillary, which was well within the margin of error, and he won 3 states by like 77,000 votes combined. So, I don't know, what was it? Michigan was like 0.2%, or Minnesota. So, it was insane. 0.4% of the votes in a couple of states. It was very, very tight, and he pulled it off. He had the right message back then. I don't think he has the right message now, but I don't think the Joe Biden is a socialist thing is really landing with your average voter, with your average American. I don't think it's landing. So let's see. Trump was a normal polling error. So here's what 15 pollsters told us. They've changed since 2016. A lot weight by education now. And what still worries them about 2020. I might click on let's see. I'll go save that. Democrats are modest favorites to win the U.S. Senate, but even if they do take control of the upper chamber, they're most likely to end up with only the slimmest of majorities. There is the chance, however, that Democrats build up a bigger Senate majority in 2020, and, as Perry Bacon Jr. wrote, that chance largely comes down to states like Kansas, Montana, and Alaska, where Democratic candidates are underdogs but still have a meaningful chance of pulling off upsets. So this is wow. Okay, so that's changed a little bit. Wait, has that gone up since the last time I saw it? Okay, so I think it was 2 weeks ago. Joe Biden was at like 78 in 100 chance to win. And then I just saw him at like 82, and now he's up 80. Now they're saying 87 in 100. What? These are all the possible maps. Could you imagine? Look at that map. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine all those states turning blue? I mean, it's not likely, but that would be insane. Plus, that has the Democrats taking Texas, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi. Yeah, that's just, we all know that's not happening. What's more likely? I'd say somewhere probably in the middle here. Man, there's just so many paths to victory for Biden and so few for Trump. But hey, I mean, it's got a 13% chance to win, according to the polls. Oh, that's another thing. People, stop acting like this is 2016. This ain't 2016. This isn't 2016. Okay? People, Trump, everything went right for Trump in 2016. He was going up against Hillary Clinton, possibly the worst candidate other than himself, the most hated, candidate other than himself, and he spoke the right message. He was really good. He was talking about trade. He was talking about infrastructure. He said if people can't get health care, he would make sure they get health care. He was talking about ending the wars, bringing troops home. Of course, he hasn't done any of those things. The only thing that Trump has done is boost Wall Street. And, I mean, that's great if you do have a 401k. Most people don't. And most people aren't trading on Wall Street either. I had a couple extra viewers. Yay, finally. One dropped out though. Whatever. Let's see here. Every outcome in our simulations. All possible electoral college outcomes for each candidate with higher bars showing outcomes that appeared more often in our 40,000 simulations. That's a lot. That's a lot. So what this means is more bars to the right of the 270 line means more simulations where that candidate wins. Some of the bars represent really weird outcomes, but you never know. That's true. So Biden is just to get over 270. Like Trump is going to have to do something spectacular to win. Like I don't even think it's going to be close. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be close. I wish I really knew. You know, I didn't take any statistics classes, you know, like some YouTubers, like Bosch. You know, he went over this the other day and he can, you know, speak about this like no better than anyone else I've seen. This is the winding path to victory. As you can see, it's much bigger and much darker, much longer and much darker for Joe Biden. These are all the states. So like, where's the toss seat? These are more in the Trump camp because he won them the last election, and they're pretty close. And the margin of error, these states will probably go Trump. Ohio, North Carolina, Arizona, Florida. Although Arizona, was it Arizona or Nevada? One of the two. I think Biden, yeah, Biden's up 50.8% to 47.9%. I also think Biden is going to do something that Hillary Clinton was not able to do, which is get over a majority of the vote. A plurality? Is the plurality over 50%? I think that's what it is. Democrats are favored to win the House. How the forecast has changed. Look at that. It got a little tight, and then you know what happened on September 8th? I don't. But something happened, but this right here is my swag. This is where Trump got COVID. And it's like, this is probably a debate bump for Biden. You start to see some separation. A lot of people didn't like how Trump did. They thought he was obnoxious, which he was. But, you know, that's my opinion. That's a lot of people's opinion. It's like Biden didn't do well, but Trump did worse. Like, horribly. Biden did bad. Trump did worse. Ugh. Biden could have just, like, sat there and just let Trump scream for an hour and a half, and Biden would have been good. Because as you know, Biden be hiding, and it's the perfect campaign strategy. So how the forecast has changed. And right now we're at our largest split. This is after, this is post Trump getting COVID, and now he's going out to rallies, and he's I feel powerful. He said that. I feel powerful. Okay, dude. Like, the theatrics are crazy. I know steroids got you pumped up, bro. Like, anyway, he's still holding rallies with a bunch of people packed in. Most of them not wearing a mask. He's just, to the average voter, they see that, and the optics aren't good for him. The optics are terrible for Trump. So I don't know why he does it. People that the independent voters and the suburb voters, especially suburban women, suburban, 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 suburb, women in the suburbs. You see, last night or the other night, Trump was like, please like me, please like me, women in the suburbs, please like me." It was like the Jeb Bush, "Please clap for me," or "Please clap" moment, you know. Ah, classics. Oh, politicians, they give us some wonderful, beautiful, mm, some some wonderful entertainment. Uh, but yeah, so Joe Biden has just built a crazy lead, and I don't know, guys. Like, it's just, I just don't see Trump winning. I mean, I know all of our brains are broken from 2016, like, so everybody's just like, I mean, could it happen again? Like, even though Biden had, I mean, there is a path to victory, even if Biden gets like over 50% of the popular vote, which I think he will. You can still win the electoral college, even if that's the case. So, but like, so the state races are what really matters. You know, I'm just surprised. Like, Georgia, look at that, tied. How is Georgia a tie currently? How is that possible? I mean, obviously Trump is gonna win it, but I mean that's just, the margin of error is probably like 2 or 3 percentage points, and I don't see it swinging to Biden. Maybe it does. If Georgia goes Biden, look out, look out. Ohio, Biden's got a slight lead there. If Trump outperforms like he did in 2016, he'll probably take it. Biden has, Biden's leading by almost 2.5 points in North Carolina. Wow, man. And I already know what you're thinking. If you're watching this and you're listening, I already know what you're thinking. 2016, 2016. It can happen in the silent majority. First of all, the silent majority ain't silent. They loud. They super loud. They super proud. They so proud they call themselves the Proud Boys. But anyway, so that's what it's looking like, guys. Looks like Biden should take it. I just don't see the path to and you know, so one of the biggest reasons why I believe Trump is going to lose this election is because of coronavirus. I believe coronavirus is his handling of the virus, of the pandemic, I should say. I believe, hold on. Yeah. You can still see a little green. I'm going to get this right one day, but today's not the day. But yeah. So the number one issue for Americans this election year is coronavirus, is COVID-19, is the pandemic. And voters, I believe most voters, independent voters, even Biden is apparently winning the senior vote by like 20 points. Like, who saw that coming? But I think a lot of that has to do with Trump's handling of the virus and not taking a real like leadership role. And you can just follow the polls and you can see, how far back does this go? This is back in June. I wish I could go back further. But Trump was doing very well. When he was giving those real serious he was on TV every day talking about the pandemic, being like a leader, and people praise him for it, and it's hard to believe anything that he was saying, but just like Andrew Cuomo, it's hard to believe anything he was saying, and both of them were lying. But people, and like just people, like a leader. They like leaders. They want they like being. I guess they like having that they know that the leader of their government, um, their president, is going to keep them safe, basically. And I believe once the coronavirus task force was disbanded, and like Trump stopped taking everything seriously, I believe that is when you started seeing like a little bit of an uptick in Biden and a downtick in Trump in their percentage, their win percentage. And then I believe so there's a little separation here in June, and I think that's because there was just, oh boy, actually it's really hard to like so much has happened this year, dude. Like so much has happened. You have George Floyd. Well, first you have like the Australian fires. You have George Floyd, or if you have Kobe. And then you have the pandemic in March. And you have George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. You have the NBA shutting down, all sports shutting down, no NCAA tournament. No sports, for a while. No MLB, lockdowns, and then fast forward, you got people, they get one stimulus check of $1,200, and then you fast forward to, within the past month or so, you have the debate where Trump is just yelling and sounding crazy and just like being obnoxious, and you have Biden just hiding. Uh, you have Trump hiding in his bunker. Oh yeah, then you have the Trump photo op. God, it's been insane. The protests, the riots, the looting, the shootings. It's just, uh, and I think people, independent voters especially, are treating all of this chaos, the economic hardships, the lack of more stimulus for workers, and even though they sit there and they pump trillions into Wall Street, but they don't trump trillions into the people's pockets, and I think people just see that as a failure of leadership. And I know people, like I live in the South. I know most of my friends and family, or at least a majority, will probably vote for Trump, and that's fine. They like him for economic reasons, and him being tough on China and his stupid tariffs. But that's fine. But then you have the like too far gones, like the cultists and the people that think that Biden is a puppet of the radical socialist left. People, guys, Biden does not like the left. The Democratic Party does not like the left. There's very few members in Washington, in the House, in the Senate that are Democrats that are actually like true lefties. Most of them are just like diet Republicans. They're just they're corporate Democrats. They play the game just like the Republicans do, and they're just oh, I just noticed I never switched this. That's funny. So yeah, man, I gotta get used to this. I've got to get used to the streaming stuff. Hey, you got to start somewhere, right? Got to start somewhere. All right. Well, anyway, how long has this been? How long have I been on? Does this say? I've been on for almost an hour. And I might end it there. So that I can have some more stuff to talk about at another time. I feel like this first episode went okay. Started off a little rough. I feel like I started getting into my groove. Once I start talking about the stuff more, it'll be more natural, and I can just rattle stuff off the top and, be more explanatory of these graphs and be able to, articulate what they really mean and all that stuff. But I just kind of winged it tonight. I hope whoever was watching enjoyed it. Hopefully you're not bored. But, I don't really care. Maybe someone will like me one of these days. And because I'll be producing great content, hopefully, and I won't be, fumbling over my words. Actually, let's do another Twitter round here. Let's see what this. Oh God.
Of severability, or
In that instance,
Hold on. Let's start this
what do
over.
you think of all that?
what do I think
Rich Barrett explains.
of severability, or
In that instance,
I think the doctrine of severability, as it's been described by the court, serves a valuable function of trying not to undo your work when you wouldn't want a court to undo your work. Severability strives to look at a statute as a whole and say, would Congress have considered this provision so vital that kind of in the Jenga game, pulling it out, Congress wouldn't want the statute anymore. So it's designed to effectuate your intent. But, severability is designed to say, well, would Congress still want the statute to stand even with this provision gone? Would Congress have still passed the same statute without it? So I think insofar as it tries to effectuate what Congress would have wanted, it's the court and Congress working hand in hand.
thank you. That's quite a definition. I'm really impressed. Thank you.
I have no idea what just said. I don't know why, but I just kind of just like drown out when she talks, or just like zone out when she talks. No, it's not because she's female. Like I perfectly understood Feinstein. And most people. Anyway. Do, 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 do. A former Navy SEAL who was there when American forces killed Osama bin Laden debunks the false conspiracy theory about the raid, which was pushed by President Trump. You are really trampling on the graves of some of the best heroes I have ever personally worked with. Wow, let's see what this is about. Let's see. Of course, it's on CNN. even though he's a former Navy SEAL. It's on CNN, so it's fake news. Stupid.
Raid
Let's
in
see.
Abbottabad, Pakistan. One person who knows firsthand is someone who was there, former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill. Senior Chief, welcome to Primetime. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me, Chris. It's great to be on your show.
Please understand, sir, I do not have you here to question the events of that night or the planning that led up to it. But let the American people know the sacrifice that mission could have gone sideways easy and almost did. What is the reality about what the men who protect us made sure happened that night?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that
Whoa. 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 I don't want to go that big.
the pilots are all alive. We all went in there. We all kissed our kids goodbye, expecting death because of what happened on 9/11, and we were willing to do it. And then just right now to see it being these conspiracy theories thrown around due to politics, it's almost like it's an insult to real people who. Because they bring in another event from part of our brothers at SEAL Team 6, they were Gold Squadron that were shot down in August. But just by doing this stuff on the internet and making such light of something like this, you're really trampling on graves of some of the best heroes I've ever personally worked with. And it's just a shame that we've gotten there because politics.
Is it okay that you have to take one for the president to help him make the case that you really can't trust anything these days? You can just trust me. Even that SEAL team stuff with bin Laden, who knows if that happened?
Well, I mean, the thing is, he can go over to the CIA anytime where there's a file cabinet with a picture of bin Laden's head, and my hands are in the picture. And then we took a bunch of pictures of him, not only in his own bedroom, but also in Jalalabad, the first place we stopped when we crossed the border and realized we were going to live. And then when we took him up to Bagram,
guys, he just so nonchalantly said that. Hold on, let's back it up.
You really can't trust anything these days. You can just trust me.
Sorry.
Even that SEAL team stuff with bin Laden, who knows if that happened?
Well, I mean, the thing is, he can go over to the CIA anytime where there's a file cabinet with a picture of bin Laden's head, and my hands are in the picture. And then we took a bunch of pictures of him, not only in his own bedroom, but also in Jalalabad, the first place we stopped when we crossed the border and realized we were going to live. And then when we took him up to Bagram.
This dude's like, I am such a freaking badass. Like, I'm just out here taking pictures with Osama bin Laden's head. And you know what? Trump can go out there and go to the CIA and look at the files himself.
So that the three letter agencies, that people smarter than me could do all the DNA tests, and that's what took so long for us to confirm it that night, because President Obama was waiting for the confirmation of how many people were left in the house, and for people to say that we flew on the way back, we realized the DNA was wrong, we flew him into the mountains. Or speaking of conspiracies, my favorite is someone decided that Hillary Clinton sent some missiles through Qatar to shoot down SEAL Team 6 to keep us quiet. If there was a conspiracy with a body double, then they would have shot us down.
I haven't heard those conspiracies, but
they didn't even. None of the guys that were killed
QAnon exists, so
on the bin Laden raid, and just the way that it spins politically, and then for Twitter of all places. I mean, I personally like to use Twitter for entertainment a lot. This is not the time for it.
By the way, what you put out was funny. Osama bin Johnson, funny. It was funny. And you get to joke about it. Absolutely. You are a hero. You put yourself out there, and you did something that a lot of people thought would never get done, especially the way they were hiding them. But the president knows the truth. This isn't about going over to the CIA. It's about a campaign where he wants people to feel confident that the only confidence they can have is in him. And everything else they think they know, they should doubt, even if it means making you guys look bad. And that's what he did, Chief. Left, right, that's reasonable.
A lot of people reached out to me today and they said, I hope you're doing okay. And I said, this is actually comical, because if you have the truth, you're going to be fine. And I've never lied about this mission once, but I start getting texts from guys on the bin Laden mission going, holy crap, I didn't know we were dead. What'd you do in there? I talked to a number of guys that were on the ground in Abbottabad that night. And again, with turning this political, This is a mission. It's been brought up before by the president too, that there are other people like Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi more important than bin Laden. 95% of the people couldn't pick out Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi in a lineup. Show anyone in the world a picture of Osama bin Laden, they know who he is.
Right.
And it was, I mean, just to make it political. If any time to release the photos is now.
Well, look, again, the truth isn't in dispute. You're no Biden fan. You believe this president has done good things, and that's your right to believe it. I'd never keep you off this show because of any political opinion you have. You're always welcome here because you're a hero. But do you want the president to know this is not something to play with? Leave you guys and the deeds that you do for this country and its democracy out of the politics.
No, I appreciate you saying that, and thank you. And I'll come back anytime. But it's one thing for a wacko to be a conspiracy theorist and claim he has all these NDAs, but just to get retweeted by the highest ranking person in the country. And again, maybe I'm a Biden fan, maybe I'm a Trump fan, but I tell everyone I'm an American. And this is an American thing. This is a worldwide thing. We lost people from more than 80 countries.
That is exactly like Biden's talking point. He's like, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm American. Vote for me.
Twin Towers alone. And then we had the people on Flight 93 who the first.
I'm not a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Vote for me. Whoa, what is this?
Debate is swirling around how police can cut back on lethal force. Some companies are promising a new solution, high-tech tools like remote handcuffs for police to reach for instead of their firearms.
Bruh.
Of course, less lethal weapons already
Whoa.
exist, and they've been used at protests across the country since the police killing of George Floyd on May 25th. Amnesty International tracked the use of force by law enforcement at protests from May 26th through June 5th.
The total of 125 incidents of police violence, excessive use of force in 40 states and the District of Columbia. And we saw misuse of tear gas, pepper spray, pepper balls, 40 millimeter impact rounds, basically every combination of weapon being used in inappropriate ways.
Some examples. In Portland, federal agents used batons against medics and fired tear gas and projectiles into crowds earlier this week. In Indiana, a journalist lost an eye after police shot him in the face with a tear gas grenade.
Wait, another journalist lost an eye?
Was in critical condition after a beanbag round fired by officers cracked his skull. In Minneapolis,
Jesus.
the National Guard shot impact projectiles into people standing on their front porches after yelling, "Light them up."
Light them up! Go inside now! Get in the house!
In Philadelphia, police used pepper spray and tear gas to drive a crowd up a steep embankment with a high fence.
There is no national standard for the police use of these less than lethal projectiles, and there's no comprehensive data that we could look at to help us understand how pervasive they are. That's challenging.
A lot of the tools that we have are very, very effective.
How about you just don't attack peaceful protesters? How about that? I mean, of course, not everything is peaceful. Not everybody is peaceful. But how about you don't show up on the scene looking like you're trying to start stuff? Or, looking for trouble. Like, agitating. What do you think's going to happen when you show up dressed up like, Look at that.
Some examples.
It's not military, is it?
In Portland,
Is it guard? Federal?
federal agents used batons.
Yeah, federal agents. With no name tags, no nothing. Totally legit. Not brown shirts or anything. Wait, did I say that out loud? Oh yeah, tomorrow night I will be live streaming both town halls. I'll be switching back and forth. Probably watch more of Trump's because frankly, his will probably be more entertaining. Joe will be sleepy Joe. By the way, I think that nickname that Trump created for Joe Biden kind of backfired. I don't know what. I'd like to watch this in a sec. I'm gonna save this. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the nickname. I think for a lot of Americans, 4 years of Trump is like it's been something else. It's been wild. It's been chaotic, and I think the American people truly just want something. Want a sleepy president. They want a president that's just gonna be like, what, what, what we gotta do today? Oh, run a country? Okay, and not like tweet 5,000 things at 3 a.m. just like, but that's Trump's that's Trump's whole brand. That's what people truly. That's what like I don't know, probably like 70% of Trump supporters. Of course, I'm just making these numbers up, but I think that's what most of them like the most. I think they just like, owning the libs, pissing off liberals. That's all that they care about. They don't care how hypocritical they are. They don't care if Trump lies. They don't care about any of that. All that they care about is, did Trump own the libs? Are we owning the libs? Did we own the libs? Damn libtards. Like, that's all he cares about. And other than himself, but that's what he's that's his brand. That's what he's stuck with. Why does COVID-19 spread faster than many other diseases? This is interesting. I'd like to see this. Let's watch.
COVID-19 spreads very fast compared to many other diseases, but why is it so infectious? One reason is the location of the cells that the virus often first infects. The goblet cells in the nose can be easily infected by the coronavirus, and so can the ciliated cells. These cells produce and transport mucus. They contain two types of receptor protein that the coronavirus needs to attach itself to.
I've heard of that one.
As these cells are in the nose, it's far easier to breathe the virus in and out.
Oh, sound got better.
People can pass COVID-19 on without showing symptoms. Many people with the disease won't know they have it. This asymptomatic transmission makes it very easy for the coronavirus to spread. COVID-19's incubation period is relatively long. People with seasonal flu usually start to feel unwell up to 5 days after infection. In contrast, COVID-19 symptoms often show after 5 or 6 days, but can take 2 weeks to appear. The infectious period for seasonal flu is also shorter and lasts for about a week on average. COVID-19 is usually infectious for 8 to 10 days, but it can be for much longer, especially in more severe cases.
Viral load
period is one reason why COVID-19 has spread so easily. More than 1 million people have died from the disease. The SARS and MERS outbreaks were also caused by coronaviruses. They killed far fewer people overall, but carried a much higher chance of death. A lower fatality rate actually helps COVID-19 to spread. People are more likely to carry the disease around without needing to go to hospital. This means there's more chance of passing it on to someone who's vulnerable. Scientists are keeping a close eye on how the virus is changing. Hundreds of mutations have been spotted. One of these, D614G, appears to have made the virus more infectious. By the end of June, the mutation was found in almost all samples worldwide.
Wow.
The coronavirus appears to be mutating slower than seasonal flu, but over time, could further changes make it even more infectious?
People want to keep messing with it. We can do coronavirus another night. I'm not doing it tonight. I'm at an hour 15 minutes. I think I'm about to call it. Next video, next one will be tomorrow night during the town halls. I'll do a little bit of prep for those, since I do have a day job, but I'm off tomorrow. I'm off for the next 4 days. That's awesome. First vacation of the year. So I'm gonna spend some time on these learning how to do this OBS again. But anyway. Levels antibodies to common cold. Coronavirus is associated with less severe COVID infection. Alright, now I said, well, I'll do it later. Do it later. I don't think I can. This is going to be the next president of the United States. But isn't that such a wonderful change of pace? Like, let's just give the goofy old man a job. And I mean like goofy, not crazy. Some people might think Joe Biden's crazy. And, you know, they probably are correct. But I'm just saying. I don't know why it's just coming on. I keep saying I'm going to end. So I guess I am just going to end it. So, well, I think things went very well. I think I've already done this whole little shtick here. So once this gets uploaded and I'm able to save it, I'm going to clip out some of the best parts, upload those videos to the channel, and hopefully start picking up some traction. Hopefully I picked up some subscribers tonight. Probably not, but you know what? It's the first video. Doesn't really matter. Also, I'd like to repeat. Green screen? I kind of wanted this in my picture-in-picture, but I don't understand why it's like, I don't understand why it's more, like, why am I getting all of this inside of here? Like, why? Why is this here? I've tried to drop an image in there, but for whatever reason, it's not working. I don't know. Maybe I should watch some YouTube videos and figure it out. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep me on your mind. And I'll see you later. Bye, guys.